Morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing great. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Doing all right. Yeah. Long flight back, but we're here.
You watched a lot of film on the flight back?
Watched a lot of film. I was up.
Did you see the same thing we saw?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I saw one phase of our game. Special teams go out there and play well, and the rest of us stunk it up. You know, we go into these games. Stop reading my – get out of here. You being nosy.
Yeah, Wiggy's looking at
Wiggy's
looking at your game notes.
You all over my shoulder.
Can I not eye hustle? I'm just trying to, get
No,
You know what he's-
like, you should come in here prepared.
I'm not
with your
reading it. It's like
questions.
when you play cards,
At least
man.
be sly
Your
about
cards
it.
are looking at me, man.
Big eyes is looking at my
Your
favorite
cards
part.
looking at
You
me.
used to cheat in school, huh?
Right,
No,
that's
no,
what
no.
I say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like this, like
I'm
this.
not cheating
You were
if
that
it's
guy.
looking at
You
me.
were that guy like
Hey,
this.
I'm like this here.
You
If
the
you happen to have it
Scantron.
looking at me, that's on
Get
you.
on my favorite.
He's a cheater, and he does not come prepared, but we love him. We love him anyway.
But what I would say, like I said, special teams play well offensively, and defensively, we just didn't hit our targets. And we talk about, what are the targets, especially against a good team like San Fran. They're a good team. I know, they're dealing with injuries, but they have good depth and they have good players on all sides of the ball. And we just didn't go out there and do it offensively. We still turned the ball over. We started slow coming out of the gates defensively. We still let the quarterback outside. We still let some of those runs get outside. And you guys have heard, me say it time and time again. And I use this platform and any other media platform also as a way to communicate with the players. I know they read the stuff. Look, fellas, we got to set the edge. Offensively, we got to protect the quarterback. And like I said, special teams did well. So I will say this, though, in the Jets game, not to look back, we were kind of flat, kind of tired. The guys, we had a good week of practice. The guys had a lot of energy going into the game, ready to go. So I know the outcome wasn't what we wanted it to be, but I will say the process during the week, the guys seemed pretty locked in.
Ramondre Stevenson, fourth fumble in 4 games. You're talking about protecting the ball. Certainly
That's
something that you don't want to see that happen.
That's right. Look, I think, as far as this team is concerned, our identity, we got to be able to run the ball, and we got to be able to stop the run and play good special teams. That's what we have with this team right now. We cannot go out there and expect to win games if we're going to turn the ball over. You can't win until you stop from losing, and that's my message for the guys going forward.
When you look at Jacoby Brissett, what did you see on the pick six?
There were guys that were open. Well, a couple guys that were open. I just think it was a bad throw, and I'm not sure. The protection and things like that. Those always come into play, even if the quarterback's not getting touched. It was just a poor decision.
Jerod,
It was a poor throw.
we're fans of this team. I'm a fan of this team. So when I sit here and I watch the game week in and week out, and then I look especially at the passing offense, worse than the NFL, and I know you always talk about, hey, it's a competition. When do you get to the point where you say, okay, maybe the guy that we're going with isn't giving us what we need because statistically we're not able to get the job done, that we have to go to whoever the guy is behind him to see if he can give us a spark and maybe change things?
Look, every week, and I do talk about competition. We evaluate things every single week. I think the hard part about it, look, all the fans, you guys in here, media, they want to see a top, the third overall pick play. And I understand the frustration from the fans. I understand the frustration from you guys in here. What we're doing is what we think is best. What I'm doing is what I think is best for the Patriots today and also in the future. And that's how I have to look at these things. You guys look at these things as, on a week-to-week basis. I think there's a combination of multiple things that I have to deal with.
We do look at that, and fans, it's interesting. We did a poll this morning. Fans are right down the middle on whether they want to see Drake May this week or not. Can you give us, if there is a reason, a specific reason, or several reasons why not this week? Are you worried about him getting hurt? That's an argument that is made because of the situation with this line. Are you worried about doing damage to him mentally if he gets in there?
I can't give you just one specific reason. There are a multitude of factors that I take into account.
But when you have to think of the future and you look at the young guys that are on this team, doesn't it worry you that maybe Drake and these young guys won't have a season under their belt going forward? Like, there will be a learning curve after these guys work with Jacoby Brissett so closely in game action to then go to Drake May. Wouldn't you like to see them learn together and come up together for the future?
I mean, look, and that's part of the things that we talk about all the time. And I would say even Drake staying after practice, throwing with some of the young receivers, trying to build that chemistry. Has definitely been good. I think we have a good nucleus, going forward. Obviously, we still have to continue to always look for ways to get the roster better. But once again, I understand your frustration. Like whether he plays, 8 games, full season, like whatever it is, we came into the season with a plan, and we're going to execute that plan, knowing that we'll take our bumps and bruises along the way.
Yeah. What was that plan? Because you bring that up a lot.
No, because you guys were bringing that up a lot. Like, why isn't this?
Yeah.
This goes back to training camp. Like, I feel like you guys brought it up, not this place in particular. We sat in here and said during training camp, like Drake's getting better, Drake's getting better, Drake's getting better. And then Jacoby's out there, and it's like, well, why isn't Drake playing? Like, he's getting better. We have a plan. We're going to stick to it, even though you guys said. And once again, I'm not saying you guys.
No, it's fine.
You
said he outplayed Jacoby Brissett.
By the end of training camp, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
by the end of training camp, and so I understand what people saw there, but I would say from my perspective, look, he did outperform Jacoby by the time we got to the end of camp. What we had to do is go into the regular season knowing that, look, who gives us the best chance to win right now? And so just because you're trending better in a certain way doesn't mean you outperform from a holistic standpoint, talking about the spring all the way through training camp.
Jerod, I thought, from the day you were hired by Robert Kraft in that press conference, the buzzword was collaboration.
Yep.
And then this week, as they're getting ready for the San Francisco 49ers, Sunday morning, Ian Rappaport has Drake May is weeks away. Build up this week from the players and the coaches on your staff was Drake May's really wowing people in practice.
That's
He's
right.
playing great. What's the purpose? Are you on board with that messaging? Who gives that information to Ian Rappaport? It feels like we're back to the conflicting reports from last year.
Well, I'm not sure who everyone in the media, and remember, I used to work in the media too, so I'm not sure who the sources or leaks or where they're getting their information from. The only thing I'm concerned about are the people inside these walls. And look, once again, if the coaches go out there, the coaches went out there and said Drake has done well in practice. True. Does that mean he's ready for to start an NFL game? Those are the conversations that we have as a staff and including Elliott on that.
Speaking of collaboration, if you wanted to go to do your business today and say Drake May is going to be the starter, would you be able to do that, or is it a collaborative decision with you and Elliott?
It's ultimately my decision.
It's you,
and it's me. It's 100%.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you can talk crap about me. I'm doing what I think is best going forward.
Yeah, I would never talk.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Especially to your face.
No, but it is fine, and I would say we've anticipated. Like I anticipated that we're going to take our bumps and lumps, and whether it's through the media, whether it's through. Even my own mom asking me, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, "Mom, just."
She wants some inside info.
She wants some inside info, and I'm like, nah.
Is she a gambler?
No,
I'd be concerned about.
No.
Don't share it. Don't share it.
My mom is not a gambler.
Do the Crafts have a say? Does Robert come to you? Does Jonathan come to you?
Look, Thunder and Jonathan, and I appreciate them. Throughout this entire season process, they really leave the football decisions to Elliott and myself. So. It's been good.
Jerod Mayo's our guest. 1 second.
Hold on, Wiggy's trying to jump in.
Hey,
No,
go ahead.
ahead.
Well, he's gonna
It's like double Dutch.
I know what he's
It's like
going to go right back.
double Dutch.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say this. I was going to say if, worst came to worst and you had to play him for whatever reason, where is your confidence level? Where is the coaching staff's confidence level? And do you guys feel like he's ready to go mentally? He'd be ready to stand in there and be physically ready to take on the bumps and bruises? Is he in that position if, God forbid, knock on wood, something were to happen to Brissett? Would you guys feel comfortable with putting him in there?
Well, that's why he's the backup quarterback. What I would say, he's still a rookie quarterback, and for us to now start to put all this pressure on him, like if, dealing in hypotheticals, that's what we're doing.
Yep.
That's what we're doing. Yeah. We're dealing in hypotheticals. Look, he's a rookie. He's going to take his bumps and bruises along the way as well. And so when you guys say, just throw him out there, yeah, I understand that part of it, but at the same time, it's not like a Knight coming in saving the world. Just all of
Right.
a sudden, it's still going to be these conversations.
At halftime, you told the broadcast team that there were communication issues. What does that mean from your perspective?
No, just communication issues. Just as far as a lot of calls have different calls within those calls. I know it sounds crazy, but based on the formation and things like that, just being able to check calls, and we just got to do a better job. Look, we had some injuries. We had some injuries during the game as well. That we always talk about the next man up, but the communication has to remain consistent, and everyone has to be on the same page.
Any update on David Andrews? Speaking
Not yet. So those guys will be here. Look, we got in this morning around 4 o'clock or something like that. They'll be in here this morning. Excuse me, with their. Go ahead.
To
Sorry.
get on a flight, though, after an injury like that or an injury-prone game where you've got 3 big guys who go down, that must be hard to then deal with the injury throughout the flight. But then does that hurt you when considering when to play Drake? Does that put you back a bit where you say, wait a minute, no, now we've got these veteran guys like David Andrews going down. It could hurt the protection of the quarterback.
No, the thing is, once again, the development of this team, and we want to win right now in the short term, but at the same time, we have to take that in consideration. And I would say it really doesn't play into it too much.
Kendrick Bourne traveled with the team.
Yeah.
Is he about ready to go?
Yeah. There
Maybe
you go. There's a nugget for you. There's a nugget.
There's
yeah.
a nugget.
Yeah.
He's ready to go.
Yeah, he's about ready to go.
Okay, so maybe this week.
And I thought it was good. I thought it was good to bring him on a trip just to, get back into the routine and the process of being on an away trip.
Not to go back to a bumpy moment with the Birds
Hold on,
of
let him
Cash.
read this. Let him read this. Go ahead. Read your
No, that was my
advertisement.
question. What,
I
no,
thought you had
read
an
one?
advertisement.
No, I
Yeah.
don't have.
Oh,
I'm,
no.
I'm looking at my extensive list of questions.
Right.
No, no.
That's actually the menu at Dunks right
Right.
now. But the team is $50 million or so under the cap right now. They have about as much cap space as any team in the NFL. Why has there not been more investment? I know that you guys working hard, but the offensive line is struggling even when healthy. It feels difficult from my perspective to see a successful rebuild if you're not able to have the foundation of the line to protect whatever quarterback's in there.
Well, I would say philosophically, Elliot and I are on the same page where we want to draft and develop. Now, it's easy to sit and say how much money you have, but if there aren't players out there that you really want on your team at that current time, you just have to wait. And this past free agency, we felt like we signed, the top offensive lineman. He just happened to be on our team. And I don't want to just say, all right, we got money, let's go spend it frivolously. And I think Elliot will feel the same.
Jerod, when you look at your defense, I think a lot of us thought, myself included, coming into this season that was going to have to be the foundation of the team.
Right.
You're having, it seems like past couple of games, a lot of explosive plays, especially in the pass game, where I don't know if it's, like you said, communication, coverages, guys just getting beat. I guess that's the biggest question is, like, are some of these guys running free? We saw Debo kind of run free. Is that man-to-man coverage where he just is better than the guy he's going against, or was there some issues when it comes to communication, and why is it seems like for a veteran defensive backfield that you're still kind of running into some of those communication issues?
I would say if you look at the first quarter of the season, and I don't want to offer any excuses or anything like that, but look, we have some players that are on the team that just haven't played yet. And I think the biggest frustration for me has been just in general is keeping the quarterback in the pocket in our early down pass rush, which I always talk about. It's easy to sit there and say in the back end, did these guys cover or did they do this? But the marriage of rush and coverage is always important. And right now, I would say our early down pass rush has really been non-existent and something that we have to address going forward. Now, even right now, with Duggar going down, there's another piece of the puzzle where we just need guys to step up. Now, will we have some guys coming back soon? Hopefully. We'll see how this week goes, but we just have to do better. We have to do better as a unit. And once again, I preach fundamentals and all that stuff, and I think tackling has been huge, and also containing not only the run game but the pass game.
Maybe you got to get Joe Mazzulla back in those defensive meetings.
Nah, it's all good. Nah, I have 100% confidence in our staff, not only defensively but just across the board, and we just have to make sure that we turn this thing around. It's hard. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh.
I was just going to say, as of this morning, going into Miami week, Jacoby Brissett is still your starter.
Still starter.
So
Okay.
do you think you guys need to add more stunts, twists, maybe free rushers?
Can I just go back real quick? Sorry. When we say those things, like, all right, this guy is starting as of, like, we always always reserve the right to do something else, no matter what the position is, and that's how I operate. And I just, like I said, I'm always going to do what's best for the organization.
Is that more to do with Drake May's lack of preparedness than it does as a support of Jacoby Brissett's play?
Drake prepares like he's the starter every single week, and I would also say, Jacoby. We can sit here and try to say how bad that is, but once again, there's various things that show up that don't really support the quarterback anyway, and pass protection is one of those things that we just have to get better at. And I would say, look, even looking at yesterday until the end of the game, I mean, you look at Bosa at the end of the game, then he really started getting it going. But there were times yesterday where the pass protection wasn't a problem. So,
What about
right.
some chips on Bosa? Do you guys come into that with the game? Because there was a couple of his free rushes. It seems like maybe you could have sent the back over there, a tight end, or there's that. I know it takes away from the tight ends and the backs getting involved in the passing game, but was that something that you guys were thinking prior to? Was
Anything worse than the offense guys trying to tell you how to play
No,
defense?
no.
I would say.
We can just want the chip.
we can say offensive guys, defensive, the chip. He wants the chip. I got that.
Put a little barbecue sauce on the
Hey,
ribs.
but what I would say is, there are multiple ways, and this. So when you ask a question like that, I just want to go like this, like this. But there are multiple ways to take a guy out of the game, especially as a defensive lineman. And look, we can sit here, and I said this last night on the when I did my presser at the end there, whether it's through scheme, getting the ball out fast, or through the chips, or running at that guy. Like, there's so many different ways to handle it. And I would say, he had some plays, but at the same time, not really on the sack train. But at the end of the game, he kind of took over.
The question of the week, the Hellman's Mayo question of the week. You can purchase Hellman's at your local Walmart or grocery store and add deliciousness and creamy flavor to your game day dishes this football season. Jerod, Gronk said over the weekend that the Chiefs get way more calls than you guys did as Patriots. Do you agree?
I don't know. I'm leaving that one alone. I'm let Gronk.
You're gonna let Gronk?
I'll let Gronk. Whatever Gronk said, he's probably right.
All right. Anybody else?
Once Drake May comes in, will we know the whole plan, or is that plan just going to be?
It's never free. Look, when I say transparency, it's what I allow you to see. I mean, and I am being transparent, but I'm not going to sit here and just say and give people everything.
Yeah, we don't get to know the plan until the plan has been activated.
Well, even
Is
when
there
it's
like a
activated,
giant signal that? Is there like a signal that goes out, like the
Well,
bat
fly.
signal, like when it's activated? The
plan executed.
Plan executed.
Well, I was looking on the paper. Maybe it was said the plan here.
Plan is not on the
I would
paper.
say the plan for this team won't be executed until we become a competitive team on a day after day, game after game basis. And so, we're going through transition. We're going through, like I said earlier, it's fine. We got to take our lumps along the way, but we got to get better, and we will.
Does it suck for you guys being so beat up when you don't have a bye week till week 14? Like, do you take that into consideration at all?
Oh, there's nothing we can consider there. Like,
Right.
It's already locked in. We just need the next man up to be ready to roll.
Jerod, you talked about tackling. Is it a lot more difficult now with the whole new rules and everything to get the proper tackling drills in practice because there's so many different rules? And do you think that maybe sometimes that's why we're sloppy, is we don't have enough time to maybe practice on tackling because of the new rules? Or do you just feel like
I would say all the teams are operating under the same CBA. And even back when I played, even back when you played, when tackling was every single day, the beginning of the season historically has been sloppy tackling as a whole. But it's something that we just got to continue to get better at.
You catch any of that Georgia-Alabama game?
A little bit. That was crazy.
he's riding with
I
his volunteers
I
are
stopped,
pretty good.
I stopped watching, and then I wish I could have watched the whole game. But
Yeah. All right, Coach. Well, thanks for taking the time. We
Appreciate you
it.
guys.
All right.
Thanks.
That is Jerod Mayo. And the conversation with the coach brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots. We will be right back.